There. Alright, sorry about that, bud.
You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your number one source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Wide awake and I feel it all the windows down. Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome, one and all. Today is February 9th, 2021. This is episode 44 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. I'm CQ, I'm your pop culture guide, and with me as always is the vision to my Wanda, the man in the bubble, the voice of the unpop cultured. Give him a hey, what's up, Mr. Radar?
Hey!
How you doing, buddy?
Go on, man.
Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you, sir.
Motherfucking Tuesday.
Motherfucking Tuesday. This man. Oh man, I'm so excited. So much. So I'm so excited. You're up to date on WandaVision. You saw the shows. You watched the episodes. We chatted about it. Oh, happy day. Oh.
Well, you texted me like fucking 7 o'clock Friday morning.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I'll tell you all about what happened in WandaVision. I'm like, give me a chance to watch it. I watched it Friday night, but I was going to keep you on the hook.
My exact words were, if there's anything that needs explaining, I can explain it. I never said I would spoil it for you. I just said, like, if you see it, and you need explanation, I got you.
I felt like you watched it first thing Friday morning.
Oh, yeah.
Got very, very, very excited and needed to speak to somebody about it. And I was like, well, I need to watch it.
Yes, absolutely. I was super excited. I think it was a great episode. So the first 3 episodes obviously were telling that sitcom-y, old-timey story. And then episode 4, spoilers alert if you haven't seen it, but episode 4 kind of jumps into the present, catches us up with what's going on, where we're at, how it's happening. Episode 5, which just aired Friday, or just became available Friday, kind of interweaves the two, right? We get the WandaVision narrative, but then we also get the peek on what's happening outside. I'm hoping that pattern holds up, because it's nice to see, like, okay, what's happening in little WandaVision world, and then what's happening outside. I kind of like that weaving back and forth of the narrative. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We are 5 episodes in, 4 episodes remaining. I am super excited, because I think it's only going to get better and more exciting. Yeah.
Okay. Are we going to talk about it a little bit? Do we need to talk about it, like, to the people who maybe...
I mean, it's Tuesday. If you haven't seen it, it came out Friday at 2 a.m.
No. I want to talk about the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about the end of it.
Absolutely. Shoot.
And the big picture question, is that the introduction to the X-Men into the MCU?
Right. Are mutants now a part of the MCU with this little backdoor pivot the show did? For those that didn't see it, well, screw you. We're going to talk about it. At the last second of the show, we get a knock at the door. Wanda opens it, and she's like, wait, what? We get the shot from behind. We see the silver hair. We immediately think of Pietro, because, he was name dropped like 6 times throughout the episode. Yeah. And come to find out it is him, but not the him that we know about, but to him, or no, not the him that she know about, but to him that we know about from the other movies. It's, instead of Aaron Taylor Johnson or whatever his name is, it's Evan Peters, the guy who played Quicksilver in the X-Men universe. Yeah. So
well, why is that? Because Quicksilver is her brother.
Correct.
Right? Yes.
Well, they never showed Wanda in that universe. In the X-Men universe, there was no Scarlet Witch. There was only Quicksilver. There was one scene that there was like a little girl with him, but obviously it can't be his twin sister if she was like 12 years younger than him.
Right. But in the comic books in the canon, they are twins.
They are twins.
Brothers. And I'm going to say this, and this is why I really genuinely think this is the introduction of the X-Men. One, it's they've bought them. But 2, they don't make mistakes.
Right. Oh, of course
like
not.
that. You know what I
No.
mean? Like everything's kind of. I'm not going to say everything is an Easter egg in the MCU, but there's a lot of they don't. Oh, we just thought he'd be a good
Right.
fit for this. You know what I mean?
Right.
That doesn't happen. So I'm kind of how much we're going to delve into that for the rest of
Yeah.
WandaVision, or how much is like I think there's a lot. I think there's still a lot of mystery to come out in this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, with 4 more episodes, there's still so much they're gonna toy with us. Here's my quick thought though.
In those 4 episodes, they could very thoroughly explain everything that's happened up to this point and still have 4 hours worth of content.
Yeah,
basically,
absolutely.
Essentially.
So to
Or
answer,
they could string us along for 3 more hour-long episodes.
They could.
And then be like, you know,
they could. To answer your question, what I believe is no, this is not the way they're going to introduce mutants into the world. There's so much. I mean, X-Men is one of the biggest properties in the Marvel Universe, and for them to just kind of like backdoor slide it in, sure, it's a huge surprise, but it's not. They love to make a big deal about everything. They want to make huge sweeping announcements. Hey guys, mark your calendars. 3 years from today, X-Men in theaters. Like, they love that stuff. They're not going to just be like, oh, by the way, there's the X-Men. Like, that's just is not going to happen. Other things, I read an article with Kevin Feige. They were talking about it, obviously, after the fact. Like, oh, you guys got Evan Peters to do this thing. And he said, yeah, it's something we didn't know if it would work. We had to, write it in. We thought it'd be funny. We thought it'd be cute. But we had to make sure the story fits it and all this. Nothing made it sound like, yes, we're building the blocks towards the big X-Men crossover universe. Like, it was more like, we wanted to try something. We thought it'd be funny. If it didn't work, it didn't work. I do think this is the kind of, you got to remember, they're not making fun of. They are being nostalgic with sitcoms, right? The classic I Love Lucy, the classic Dick Van Dyke Show, all the classics. In the 90s, you had think about Full House, Family Matters, Growing Pains, Family Ties, all these shows. There was always that one weird episode where like the uncle shows up and no one's ever heard of him or talked about him before. He shows up for that one episode, he does some stuff, and then you never see him again. Like, that was like a trope of those 90s sitcoms. You'd have these characters that never make an appearance ever again, even though they're supposed to be, kind of a big deal. The kids selling cigarettes in Saved by the Bell, who like he's, everybody knows that guy, but he never appeared in an episode before, and he never appears in an episode again after. It's that kind of trope. I do feel like while they'll play around with it for maybe an episode or two, I think it's going to be one and done. Like, this isn't going to be a continuing thing forward.
No, and because we know WandaVision is basic. It's only a 10-episode season or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that it's going to. I think they gotta like tip their toe in the water to see if they can make it work.
Sure. Oh yeah, no, they're messing with us on purpose.
But I'm just saying, I don't think it's gonna be just like, I got Quicksilver here, bye, I'll see ya.
Yeah.
And then he's gonna fucking take off. No, I don't think it's gonna be that.
Right.
I think it's going to be. I mean, I don't think all the X-Men are gonna fucking swarm in at the end of WandaVision either.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think that there's going to be something in between in that, and then maybe further down the line, relatively soon. You know what I mean? We may see some, maybe in like the next Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Something.
Oh, absolutely.
Lines.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. Everything I've read suggests that there is a way that they could potentially, remember, we're in the phase 4 of the Marvel Universe. There's a way that they could potentially use every project that's coming out to, on the sly, introduce one character that in 2-3 years time all come together to be in the X-Men, right? They were talking about, like, in the Black Widow movie, they're in Russia for most of the movie. You could easily have, Colossus, as he's Russian, so he could make a kind of like a quick cameo appearance. You have, we saw the, films from, scenes from the Bucky and the Winter Soldier. They're gonna be in Madripoor, which is a made up place, has a lot of ties to the X-Men. So you can have, Shadowcat or Wolverine kind of doing shit in the background, not be part of it, but just introduced enough that later on.
Or introduce them kind of how they introduced Wanda in Ultron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to like make them like the main fucking focus of the film.
Right. They're just kind of
you bring them on staff, kind of, you know.
They're the
kinda,
Sharon Carter.
Backstory.
The Sharon Carter of the X-Men version. Mike says, do you think there's going to be a Woo series? A series where people go woo? No. Yeah, Jimmy Woo. Everybody's saying they're clamoring for a Darcy Lewis, Jimmy Woo, like funny X-Files Marvel universe kind of a show where you've got them investigating all the weird paranormal stuff that happens in the universe, but with like a fun, silly, mysterious take on it. I kind of like, I'd watch it. I'd watch it. Kat Dennings and yeah, like X-Files, you know, so it's mysterious. It's, you know, like they're but there's just kind of, you know, because the Marvel universe has a silly kind of slant to it, a mischievous, silly, fun slant to it. So I could see a world where that happens. I can see an alternate universe timeline where that happens, and it's successful. So yeah, why not?
I don't hate it. I don't hate the idea.
That's a glowing review from Radar.
Well,
I don't hate it.
Honestly, for me, I mean, it's not a bad one. I don't know. There's a whole lot. That actually wouldn't be a bad way to introduce the X-Men either.
It's always a way to introduce the X-Men.
Well, guys, okay, I'm actually I'm slightly excited about it. Slightly excited about it because I mean, you got to remember too, kind of like this. You know, the X-Men stuff was kind of bigger when I was younger.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
More so than like, you know, when Iron Man came out and stuff. I was getting old by then. You know what I mean? So
sure,
like,
sure.
I kind of relate to like the old, like the Wolverines and like, you know what I mean? I'm kind of excited about. I'm not like fucking, because here's the deal. I know if I get excited about it, I'm gonna get let down. So I don't want to get too excited about it.
Right. You're lukewarm about it. That's the right amount. Which, let me say one last thing.
I'm also kind of afraid that they're gonna fuck it up.
You have to put that fear aside, man. You have to put it aside.
No, because
don't live in fear. Don't live in fear.
Okay. all I'm gonna say right now. The MCU movies, there's been some letdowns.
In the early days, there were, I wouldn't even say letdowns. I wouldn't even say letdowns. I would say they were just
subpar.
They were okay. I would take Thor: The Dark World, which I think is kind of like bottom tier of Marvel movies, over any of like the DC properties outside of maybe like the Chris Nolan, you know, trilogy of Batman movies.
Anyway, back to the story.
Yeah.
All I'm just saying is like, I don't want to be up here when they come in down here. I mean, granted, they could be all the fucking way down there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna let it happen. I'm not gonna force it. I'm not gonna be like, oh no. But
don't force it. Please don't force it.
I'm also not going to be fucking super excited about it and be like, all fucking churching it up, like, woo!
The Church of Marvel. I'm going to start the Church of Marvel. One last thing on WandaVision. I know people are probably sick of us talking about WandaVision. The commercials. I had a theory. I said the woman and the man, they're the same actors. That's got to be her parents. Like, that's her just, you know, filling the emotional void, whatever. And then I also said that, you know, all the commercials have a tie to her grief, right? We saw the Stark toaster, which was like the missile that killed her parents. The Hydra soap, which was Hydra brainwashing her. The Strucker watch, which is the guy that experimented on her. All these things had connections to her grief. The most recent one being Lagos paper towels, which Lagos is the place where she had that infamous accident that led to the Sokovia Accords, right? She did the magic bubble thing, and it blew up a building and killed a bunch of civilians. It was an accident, which is another, you know, play on the whole, like, when you make a mistake, you didn't mean to. Like, that was the Lagos brand paper towel, so that was her mistake. I've upon further review, I think there's even a level deeper connection. You ready for this?
All
So,
right.
so not only is it, her parents definitely in it. Not only is it that each one's connected to her grief in a way, they're also connected to the Infinity Stones. Let's hear me out here. The
Okay.
toaster had the yellow. But you remember it was in black and white, but there was a yellow blinking light, right? And it had to do with, I don't know. Vision's always been called a toaster in the comics, right? They make fun of him. They call him a toaster. So let's say that's the Mind Stone. Just go with me.
Okay. All right.
The watch, the time stone, right? We can manipulate time. All right. Which again, it was in black and white. For all we know, that watch could have been green, right? Because maybe it was green, whatever. It's the time stone. All right.
Okay.
Then the Hydra soak, it was talking about how you need to go to another place. So let's call that the space stone. And also, the box was in a perfect square, very much like the Tesseract, the space stone. Okay. Now we skipped episode 4. In episode 5, we got Lagos. When they pushed the liquid across the table, this was an incident because of her power. Her power exploded, and I'm sorry, not a power. It was talking about you want to wipe away the mistakes you made, right? You want to change reality. Remember in the Thor movies, the red ether like liquid. It was the stone was that red, I don't know, liquidy kind of thing. So that representing the reality stone. So if I'm right, we still have 2 more stones to go in the next 4 episodes, which tracks like if let's say the last 2 episodes are out of the sitcom beat, let's say 2 more episodes where they're still within the sitcom where you could still see commercials. They should have 2 more references to stones, 2 more references to her parents, 2 more references to her grief, which obviously one of them has to be Pietro dying. That's obvious. And then the last one has to be Vision dying. Those are the last 2 big moments of grief for her. So if my theory holds up, timestamp this right now. If I caught on, they have to have references to her grief, and they have to have references to the 2 last Infinity Stones, which would be power and drawing a blank here. Reality, time, space, mind. I can't think of the other one. Soul. That's it. So soul and power have to be in the last 2 commercials or some reference to them. And my guess is the death of her brother, which would be perfect for this upcoming episode, right? She's gonna have to deal with the death of her brother, and then finally the death of Vision, which I feel like will push her over the edge into that final confrontation where she has to accept the fact that everybody's dead and she's got to just move the fuck on. But I think that's going to cause a snap in her psyche, which will explode this whole thing and lead into craziness. In the future. I'm off my soapbox ramble.
No. Okay, but this is something you and I talked about offline, but I'm going to bring it up then.
Sure.
Okay, in order for this scenario you just speak of to happen, she has to be the one who is completely in control of this universe or her bubble, right? We're not entirely sure that Wanda is the one that's in charge of WandaVision.
That's right. I think, I think she's not. I think she is involved, but not in control. Like she's aware, but to the point where she almost like brainwashed herself as much as someone else might be manipulating and pulling the strings.
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's the old monkey paw. We talk about this, the old science fiction monkey paw, where you get granted wishes, but each one comes at a great cost. So I feel she worked with someone, I have my theories, to help her resurrect Vision. But in doing so, it kind of snapped her psyche, and this other person's kind of pulling the strings to make certain things happen for a very specific reason. And they're the ones kind of in control, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. I'm curious as to I don't want to throw out any speculation. I don't really know enough to think who it might be, but maybe we'll go figure that shit out too. But
I mean, I think I know who it is, but you know,
I don't know.
I think it's Agnes. I think it's Agnes. I think Agnes is a character from the comics called Agatha Harkness. There, Agnes, Agatha Harkness. I think it's obvious. I think it's Agnes. I think she's pulling the strings. Some people are saying Mephisto, who's like the Marvel equivalent of the devil. And I mean, there's people think that like, oh, she keeps referring to her husband Ralph that we never see. Maybe that could be the Mephisto devil guy. But I definitely think it's Agnes. There's too many coincidences. She's always showing up when Wanda and Vision are about to snap out of that reality. She always seems to show up and get them back on track. She was around when the kids were born. She was around every time the kids grow older without even blinking. I just it's too coincidental. Too coincidental.
But okay, but I'm gonna say okay. This is what really got me this last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Was when Vision kind of has his moment of clarity. Like
Right.
they're kind of touched on like at the very beginning. It's like, what do we make here? Like this is dumb. Like what am I even doing here?
Yeah, why am I here?
But when he like talks to his coworker, right? He touches his little fucking head and all he turns into a normal person, dude, right? And then he's like, oh, shut the fuck up. And okay. He's autonomous at that point, right? Wanda's not controlling him. Agnes or whoever else is controlling him. He's autonomous, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that moment, he is making decisions for himself and his body, right? But he dead. He's a corpse that somebody is animated and moving around. Somebody is controlling, is puppet mastering him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does he have any level of autonomy on his own whatsoever when he dead?
Well, I mean, same question could be said about the kids. They don't exist. They're not real. How can they have it not? And it's been shown that she has no control over them. That she tells them not to do these things, and they basically questioning her. And
my fucking kids are the same way.
I think all our kids are the same way. The magic don't work on them. But no, like the whole thing is there's more to it. There's still more to the story. We don't have all the answers, and I think it's only going to get better.
So I want to know how he did, but autonomous. Like I could get if Wanda controlled everything he did, right? If Wanda controlled everything he did, or whoever controlled like literally everything he did,
mm-hmm.
right? Then I could understand that.
Right.
You know, she's grieving over his loss. She's going to control of his corpse and just fucking making him walk around or whatever.
I know what you're saying. I agree with you. But again, I think she's only aware of what's happening in those moments of clarity.
Okay. But is it possible? This is where I'm thinking,
mm-hmm.
right? Is it possible? Because I don't want to spoil a whole lot, but you know, Black Panthers people were like trying to fucking separate all the shit when all that happened, right?
Right.
And, okay.
Look at you, nerd.
Pop culture. But anyway, but they kept his corpse, his body, his fucking robotics bullshit. Yeah. Right?
Well, Sword got it somehow.
Sword got it and was like, I don't know, playing fucking sword games with it. Maybe they fucking put him on like a fucking suit. Yeah. Oh, I'm in my Vision suit. But right?
Sure.
So they had accomplished a certain amount of work on him before Thanos came and fucking plucked the stone out, whatever. Blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Is it possible, probable, not really, maybe I'm dumb, that Sword was trying to, like, I don't know,
bring him back online
in some sort of fashion, even without the stone. And this is, I'm all fucked up with this, right?
Yeah.
Because Captain America took the fucking stones back. Mm-hmm. They never got fucking destroyed. So, in that should have fucked it up where where Vision never actually died.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah. Well, now you're talking parallel Earths and alternate timelines, and it's.
You see what I'm saying, though, right? Like
it gets a little iffy. It gets just a little bit iffy.
That's when this whole thing. That's when this first started. I was like, well, they're trying to bring in because you talked about the multiverse stuff where there's different parallel universe timelines and all the bullshit. were he not actually dead because, yeah, right, Mike Larson smokes fucking motherfucker radar ran.
You're gonna blow a gasket, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, them Dodge coins fucking making me. I'm almost 100 air from them. That's right. But anyway, so maybe he's still alive, and like I thought this introduction to that is not. I don't like it.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Oh, before I forget, I have a special friend that will be calling in a few minutes. I don't want to spoil it too much, but someone you may or may not have seen if you watched the Super Bowl. That's all I'm gonna say. We'll give it a couple minutes and he'll call in and we'll see what goes out. But yeah, to finish the whole WandaVision thing, I think it's finally where people wanted it to be. I think people are excited. I think it's getting better and better. I think every episode's going to hit us even bigger. I think they're leading to an epic finale that will send literal ripples and shockwaves across the multiverse of madness, if you will. Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
I am going to say this, and this is as a radar, as a
radar,
as a more casual nerd.
Okay.
This has made me considerably more. They've done this good. Remember what I said before? Do good. Make it good.
Do good.
And this has made me considerably more excited about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which.
And Super Bowl, they had a pretty decent Super Bowl commercial.
I have. Should I toss it up there? I have it.
I mean, if you want. It's good. It's good. It's all right.
It's all right. All right, guys. Hey, before our special guest calls in, let me throw up the Falcon and Winter Soldier Super Bowl commercial and check it out.
So, who would like to start? Mr. Barnes, why does Sam aggravate you?
15 seconds to drop. So what's our plan?
Great. Superheroes cannot be allowed to exist. I have no intention to leave my work unfinished. The world's upside down right now. Where do we start?
Buck, I have a plan. Oh, yeah? What is it?
Is you ready?
Here we go again, huh?
We've been grinding hard on the job. Can't take that from us. Are you ready? Is you ready? You fucking ready? Ready? Is you ready? Are you ready? Is you ready?
That little girl kicked your ass.
Gotta get that first shot up before that bullet hit me.
See? That wasn't so hard.
Are you ready? Is you ready?
Okay.
You say you ready.
What are you doing?
Whole squad ready.
Are you having a staring contest?
Are you ready? Is you ready?
Just blink. Sweet Jesus. I mean, how old are you?
All right, there you go. Falcon and Winter Soldier. It looks good, man.
That looks pretty fucking good, man.
It looks good. It's the Marvel we're used to. It's the Marvel we're comfortable with. I am appreciative of what they're doing, and I'm excited for what they're doing with all the other stuff. But it's exciting. It's very exciting.
Well, and like this thing is more what we're used to, but I think it's really going to give a chance to like really get into those characters. And I mean, you can do more with a series than you can with a movie. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah. I always said that, like, as great as Winter Soldier the movie was, Captain America 2, Winter Soldier, like, I felt like Baron Zemo, the character, the bad guy, was so underutilized. I felt like he was such a good character, and he was way underutilized. and this is a way to get him a lot more involved. Sharon Carter, such a huge figure in the comics, and again, just an underutilized character in the movies she's appeared in. I mean, yeah, like this is what a great way to play with those characters and let them breathe, right? You got Bucky outside of the shadow of Captain America. You know, you got Falcon outside the shadow of Captain America, while also the story being about them in the shadow of Captain America, kind of. So, very excited to see that. Let's see if I can't get this guy. But yeah, man, it's exciting.
Ooh.
It's exciting stuff.
Still feel Falcon is second worst character, close to first to Hawkeye. I don't know, man. Hawkeye's
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Iowa, so
I think I think these series are the perfect place for people who feel that way to get more love for those characters. Hang on a second. We got a caller coming in here. Let's see if we can't merge these calls. Hello, you're on Pop Culture Warrior. Holy crap, there goes my screen. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, how are you?
Oh, there's a deep, dark voice. I'm going to see if I can't fix this screen, though, because I got, oh boy. Hang on a second. No, it's not you. Skype can be very funny sometimes. So let's see if I do that. Here we go. So first off, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce my good friend here, the sultry voice you hear on the other side of the line. This is James Martin, and James, you were one of the honorary captains at the Super Bowl. You were on field, man. They introduced you. They said your name. You had a poem read about you. I mean, well, first of all, thank you for calling in, man. We appreciate you taking the time to check us out, to be on the show, man.
Hey, man, it's all for you, man. It's nothing but love and appreciation.
All for me. Oh God, that sounds terrible. So I gotta ask right away, man. What was that like? What was that like being on the field of the Super Bowl?
All jokes aside, you know, the Super Bowl is like one of those bucket lists, like one of those things that we can only achieve to like try and dream to actually like go to one. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even better if our team is in it, and to be there and to feel the energy in the stadium, even with it only being at, was it 25% capacity, and it was just something different. It was breathtaking. It was amazing. I wish I had better words for it. It was just really something different. Because 40 years of watching football, Super Bowls, that thing to always watch, and I never thought I'd be there, and there I was, standing there and hearing the music and everything, and it was incredible.
And for obviously a lot of people don't know the more story behind it, but you were notified that this was going to happen just a few 3 weeks ago.
Something like that.
Barely anything, but you were notified, and you are a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You were notified on a call by Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
Like, what a dream that could be.
Yeah. It really was. And it was like it was so interesting because I remember that on that day I was like super busy. I like knew things were coming up, and I had this call coming in, and I was like, hey, is there any way we could push it from left to right, like 20, 30 minutes? And everybody's like, no, we're not moving this. And I'm like, we've moved calls before. I don't, okay, whatever. And then life punched me in the face. So here we are in a moving car. And I'm like, I just looked at my wife. I'm like, we're just going to take the call in the car. And I'm like, you're driving. And, I get on the call, and Chris is like, hey, thank you for making it. I know things were busy. And he goes, I'm not the most important person on the call. And now, mind you, I'm looking at my phone going, there's only 2 squares, mine and his. What does he mean I'm not the most important person on the call? And
Right.
then it just populates. And there's Jerome Bettis. And I'm like, oh wow. Like, well, whatever's happening at this point has just became very serious. And holy sweet Jesus, Jerome Bettis is on my phone.
Yeah, I've watched the video many times, and most people freak out and they're like, "Oh my god!" But you just had this stone face, like, all right, like you couldn't believe this was happening, and like it's almost like you thought you were getting punked or something.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. That's really, I was like, yeah, it's like, and then he started to speak. I'm like, okay, no, that's really him. And whatever's happening is really happening. It's just I don't know what it is. So, and then as a fan, there's things of being like fans of your team and that, and then you're fans of people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's certain people that go out and do great things, and he's one of them. And what he's done for like the city of Pittsburgh and for kids and for families that were hungry, what he does whenever the cameras aren't rolling. That's a pretty important figure. Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion. So I could have fangirled it up. I just decided, let's take a minute.
Yeah, you kept it super cool, man. You kept it super cool. I was very impressed. Very, very impressed. I mean, as someone who's interviewed some big, stars of our time, I was like, man, this guy is just, and I know how big of a fan you are, not just of the Steelers, but of him. And you're finding out, hey, by the way, you're going to the Super Bowl. You're going to be an honorary captain at the Super Bowl. You're going to be on the field for the coin toss. And you're just like, cool. Nice. like this, like nothing cracks you, bro. Like that was, I would have lost it. I would have lost it.
No, I did lose it actually. It's just you couldn't tell. Like he started asking questions. Like, I think there's a part where the video stops, and he's asking questions, and I didn't know where to begin the conversation. I just started talking, and my wife is looking at me going, "Why did you even start there?" I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." I was like, just take the phone. Like, so she's like, so I just tilted the phone towards her. She started speaking for me, and I'm just like this, like shaking my head and nodding in the corner because I was truly at a loss for words.
Oh man, that's so cool. Yeah, we're getting a bunch of people that are saying like, "Holy shit, man, the bus is my hero." You got people jelly about what you got going on, man. So did they take care of you? Did you get the hookup? Did you get VIP seats? What's up?
Man, let me tell you what. The NFL treated us real good. And I know you're a fan. I know you're a fan. And it's not just of your team, but fan of players. So
right.
And a fan of the sport. So there were certain things that you had to be there to experience. So like me and the teacher Trey was sitting on the top of the ship in Tampa Bay, right? We're doing the filming of the NFL honors. I get my script, and I've been reading it over so this way I don't make a fool out of myself on national TV. And it's supposed to be with me speaking with the gentleman from Bones. Or SEAL team, right?
Right.
David, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
I can't ever pronounce his last name really. And so me and Trey are sitting there, and all of a sudden somebody's like, "Yeah, hey, Kurt Warner's here," and I'm like, "Oh, wait, Kurt Warner? Hall of Fame, greatest show on turf."
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, kind of a big deal. And the running joke between us three honorary captains was, it's just a regular day. There's nothing to see here.
Mm-hmm.
So we were like, oh, yeah, it's Kurt Warner. Why not? Why wouldn't he be here? There's nothing to see here. Nothing to notice. And they tell Trey that he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, you're filming your part with Kurt Warner. And I laughed at him, which I shouldn't have did. And I'm like, hey, man, it's just a regular Friday. Go ahead and hit that up. And he comes down from his filming. And I hear this voice because I'm sitting down, and Trey comes down beside me, and I hear this voice, and I look up, and I'm like, oh, man, that's Chris Carter.
Ooh.
And he looks at me, and he's like, just a regular Friday, right? And I'm like, yep, nothing to see here. And Chris Carter goes, yeah, we're filming together. And I'm like, wait, what? Excuse me, what do you mean that I'm about to film with the legend, the Hall of Famer, Chris Carter?
Sure.
And
another kind of big deal.
yeah, exactly. Another kind of big deal, no big thing. And he looks at me, he's like, "Do you have any questions?" I'm like, "No, not for you, because I'm one of your biggest fans. I can tell you how you came from Troy, how you made it to Ohio State, you came up out of the projects, went to the Eagles, you dealt with your demons the same way a lot of us veterans do. You chose a route that ended up kind of almost throwing your career away. The Eagles got rid of you for what, $100? You ended up going to the Vikings, changing your life, becoming one of the best that ever done it, taught some of the best that ever come after you, and like Randy Moss, and you're idolized by how well you played by people like Larry Fitzgerald and Megatron, who's and then you got out and you're teaching all these young rookies how to deal with their money and how to deal with the culture and the life, because you don't ever want anybody to go down that route. I was like, you're a hero to me. And he took that well, and he was like, that means a lot. He's like, but you do the same work. And then we go up to there to start filming, and all of a sudden Chris Carter, the football player, came out and he was talking trash. Like, "You're gonna mess up your lines? You're gonna make me look like a fool on national TV?" I'm like, no, sir, I am not. And it was just those experiences. The commissioner of the NFL is a football guy.
Yeah.
And not just like, oh yeah, because he's the commissioner of the NFL. No, like, he really genuinely loves the game. And wants to see it do well and prosper. And he's from my neck of the woods. Like, little things. It's just those small experiences that you couldn't get nowhere else. And for us true football fans who love the sport and the teams and everything else, it was a once in a lifetime.
Wow. God damn, man. I got goosebumps, bro.
Yeah, look, and I was like, that's like a fraction of the stories I could tell.
Where they got you sitting during the game?
Right beside the commissioner.
Oh my goodness. So you were you were in the nice.
So we were in the commissioner suite with him and Sierra, and
Russell Wilson was up there.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's up there. The three of us, our significant others are friends, and the Roger Goodell's wife, his daughters, and I think it was his dad, and it was just, or her dad, sorry, yeah, and it was just really, it was a good time, and we're just sitting there, all of us football fans lined up, we're watching the game, we're sitting there like, oh man, that was an incredible call, or why was this done? And we're just sitting there and just picking at the man's brain, and he's so salt of the earth that you can tell, like, if he wasn't the commissioner and he was at a bar and you sat beside him, that's the guy you'd want to sit beside from 1 o'clock till 10 o'clock every Sunday night.
Right. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I met him a few times, and you're absolutely right. You're hitting it right on the head. And he's actually a big supporter of our nation's vets and everything. There was a couple of us at NFL headquarters. We got invited once by him, and we came and we thought, oh, it's nice. They're letting a bunch of, wounded vets get in there and check stuff out and whatever. And he came and took time with us and showed us his office and everything. And then he even had his daughters come in, and they had made brownies for us. So, like, it's such like you said, such a small, strange
It's the small things, yep.
But it sits in your head to say that, like, it wasn't just because, unfortunately, there's a lot of things where they're like, hey, have this experience. You're here, you're there, you're gone, forgotten. But for him, the day before, to be like, well, we have vets coming in tomorrow. Let's make them brownies, homemade brownies. And, like, It's just such a small thing. But it's always stayed. This is years ago, but it's always stayed with me because I respect the hell out of that guy.
Oh, yeah. Too.
Was there any? I'm curious, since you were there, you were in that suite, in that booth. What was the general consensus of how that game? Because that game wasn't what people expected it to be. What was, tell us, what was it like being in that room as it's kind of unfolding? We're seeing what's happening. What was the feelings in there?
So what's funny is, and this goes to the credit of him being a football guy, is that we were sitting there and it was me, Trey, his friend Eric, and we're sitting there talking about the game before the game, and we're watching the warm-ups, and you saw that shot of like Brady like losing it, like he's real hyped like an hour before kickoff. And I'm like, man, Brady's really on one. And he was like, well, who do you want to win? I was like, my heart of hearts, I want the Chiefs to win, but my head, I know better. I know what's going to happen. And he was like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, with everything that they have offensively, defense, they have the answers if they have the ability to go over the top. And he was like, but that guy's in. He's like, the one gentleman out of the Chiefs was injured on the front line.
Mhm.
He's like, the defense is going to come around him. I'm like, I know. And then I realized that, wait, we're having this conversation like two people doing fantasy football drafts going, yeah, man. I mean, I would switch him out right now because he ain't gonna make it because the defense is gonna be on him. And that, like, it was moments like that you can tell that he was not just the commissioner of the NFL, but he loves the sport.
Yeah.
He enjoys it. And so we knew what was going to happen. Like when there was a part, I think there was where the Chiefs took a timeout, and I think there was like 20 seconds left. I think it was in the second.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting there, literally, we're like, what'd you call the timeout for?
Yeah.
And I realized that I was like, well, what are you thinking, sir? And we just stopped. And he was like, well, you don't want to give Brady any time. Why would you stop the clock if it has a chance to run? If all of a sudden this turns out sideways, they're going to score.
Mhm.
And I was like, he's not wrong. and the man knows what he's talking about, so, and it's not just because, like I said, not just because he's the commissioner, but because he's a football guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can appreciate that. We don't do this work to be noticed. We do it because it's the right thing to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? We want to look out for our people. I want to look out for these kids, and the sheer thought of even being thought of in that light enough to be honored meant the world to me, and it's so humbling. And I thank the Warrior Project. I thank the NFL for the experience. And wow, just wow! Like me and my wife came home yesterday on Monday, and we really just sat here and looked at each other like we were really at the Super Bowl. Like that really just happened. Because of all those little experiences that we as fans would. No picture could do it justice. You just had to be there.
Yeah, I don't care if you got an 8K TV. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: one time in my life, I've ever been on a football field, or on the field. This was a playoff game. Giants, this was the second time they won the Super Bowl, but it was a playoff game at home. Mm-hmm. And I was on the field when they came running out of the tunnel, and the feeling, like the ground shook. The ground shook. You felt like stereo sound has never sounded the way it did. I'm curious because I know the stadium wasn't as packed as it could have been. Was it still that same kind of impact?
The impact was incredible. So I don't know about anybody else or anybody who's watching or listening, but every year for the Super Bowl, I always want to pay attention to the coming out of the locker room music, because I'll put money on whoever has the best hype song coming out is the ones who probably going to win. Because that they're ready. You know what I mean? Like when the Eagles came out and they just got Meek Mill out and they came out to Dreams and Nightmare and the whole city was live. I'm like, oh man, they already had like the mentality hype that they're ready to go. So when Tampa Bay came out, and I'm still like trying to find footage so I could find the song, I don't know what it was. I don't know what they were listening to, but the scene when Tom Brady comes out around that locker room and the music started to hit, it was like bass galore. Everybody's on their feet. Fireworks are going. And you could feel it in your chest. And I think that was the one part of the experience that was so different, because you went to a playoff game. So you at least get this part.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a home game.
Mm-hmm.
That you can feel it in the city before you even get to the stadium.
Right.
Like Tampa, when we got there on Friday,
When you
was
touch
all
down,
right.
when you touch down, the doors open, and it's just like, whoa, you just feel it.
You can feel it in the city, but on Friday. By Sunday afternoon, oh man, it was live. And then to be inside the stadium, and we walked in and we saw it with all the cutouts, and we're like, it doesn't really look like it's going to be that packed. And then we saw how packed it got. We're like, oh man, this is about to get live. And when they started to do their come out, I was like, oh man, Tampa's got this in the bag. Because they were ready. Like the fans were behind them. It sounded like a home game outside of the Buccaneers ship shooting every touchdown.
Yeah. No, I mean you got to be a part of a legacy that we'll never see again, right? You got to be there, on the field, at a Super Bowl. But for a team that played their home game, for a guy that won his 7th Super Bowl, that he won it for the second team. Any way you slice it, against the last Super Bowl reigning champions. This was, regardless of how the game turned out, this was an absolute epic part of history. And you got to be there, man. Like,
I got to be there, yeah.
No lie. When I first heard about it, obviously jealous. Come on, you got to be, because awesome.
Understood.
But
completely understood.
So much love, because I'm like, if anybody got to do it, I'm so glad it got to be you. Nobody deserves it more. And in my mind, I went, okay, they're doing the nice thing. They're gonna have the guy. He'll get to be on the sideline, or he'll maybe stand in the coin toss. But like, man, they did you guys up. You were in the hype video. You were in the announcements. You, what's her name? God, I forgot her name, but she read the poem.
Amanda Gore, yeah. When we found out that she was writing the poem for us, we're like, wait, what?
Man.
We were like, 22-year-old, the one who just read at the inauguration, she's going to write a poem about us. We're like, oh, okay. That's big. Actually, this is the first Super Bowl where it started out with some level of like art poetry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here we are on the field, in the tunnel, and I didn't know about the Vince Lombardi.
The Lombardi, yeah.
So Vince Lombardi starts out the Super Bowl, then this poem, this beautiful rendition of the national anthem. It was all so much, and it was insane.
And
one of the NFL Films guy looked at me and said, "Hey, look, if you're feeling hype now, just wait till you get to the stadium." He's like, "If you think you're nervous now, just let the energy get to you whenever they start playing like the national anthem, and it's almost time for you to go up there. You'll be all right."
Let me just throw in too, for those that maybe missed it, you were dressed to the nines. Like, bro, you looked amazing. You had like the tie, the blaze, the whole suit together. Not to say nothing for the other two that were there. They looked like they were at a football game. But bro, you look like you were ready to take home the NFL MVP honors. That's what you look like.
I appreciate that.
And I saw the black and gold. I saw the black and gold. I know you had to do it.
Well, and that was like the NFL honors, wearing that red and black for the school that I was doing the live streams for. They knew what it was about. They knew exactly what it was for. So it was, my way to pay homage to them, because I wouldn't be here without them. My way to pay homage to Pittsburgh, the city that put us on and puts on for us all the time. For Jerome, for calling, that's for you. That's my thank you. Because I can't do much else, but I can do that.
That's awesome. Well, listen, man, I've talked your ear off enough. We're going to be going to break soon. Wanted to give you a quick shout. First of all, thank you so much for calling in, man. I really appreciate it. I know, you were all over the media. I saw you doing interviews left and right. So for you to take the time out to give us a call in, man, I really appreciate it, brother. If for those that want to find you, I know you're a streamer. I know you got your thing. I know you put it out there. I know Ryu Nights. Where can people find you? How can they see what you got going on?
I'm on Twitch when I have the ability to go live. Twitch, twitch.tv.ryunite at ryunite0848. But work is calling, and I'm trying to find ways to connect these veterans through gaming. So it may not be my time to stream, but it may be, it's definitely my priority to make sure that I can connect these veterans through video games.
Yeah, man. It's
because we got to get together, man.
What you're doing is awesome across the board. Everything you're doing is awesome. I'm a big fan of yours. Like I said, I appreciate you coming out, and big hug and love to the family. And man, we'll have you on again sometime soon, bro.
All right, brother, man. I thank you so much. Nothing but love for all y'all. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. You keep doing what you're doing, man. And next time you make the Super Bowl, you bring me along, all right?
Got it.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right. Good night.
Radar, you there, bud?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness, how awesome was that?
That's fucking amazing, and like legit, like I'm in fucking awe, dude. Like I'm happy for him. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. If someone come like, "Hey, Radar, you want to go to the Super Bowl?" Like, absolutely, sign me up. But I'm glad that he got to. You know what I mean? And like in a way represent me by going.
I hear you. I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
he was there for all veterans, man. He's such a good representation. I mean, really, the guy is awesome. I can't speak highly enough of him. I know him for a couple years now, and he's just the coolest dude. He's doing so much for others. Always trying to work with vets, work with kids, work with schools. Does so much for his community. Such a good representation of what veterans should and can be. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. So I'm gonna send us to a short break, bud. You hang in with me, and we got a super cool guest coming in right after the break. We got Megan Willcoxson. She's a military cartoonist. She does Scuttlebutt comics. I think it's gonna be a really fun conversation. I'm interested to see where this goes, but we'll see. All you guys, nobody go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break. So see you in a minute. Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
From the
I stood there in that middle of church with a bottle of gin in my hand. I'm looking up at the rooftop like I'm trying to find my long-lost friend. My days turn to nights, my nights turn to weeks when you're living life on the road. I'm halfway back to New Orleans with a few more drinks to go. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back. I finally made it back to Bourbon Street, picking some of them old night bars, hoping I could find myself playing music on my guitar. For the kid around, they all shouted out as the drinks began to flow. I pulled out that old guitar, then I showed them how to do-si-do. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back. Church with a bottle of gin in my hand, looking up at the rooftop like I'm trying to find my long-lost friend. Days turn to nights, but nights turn to weeks when you live a life on the road. Halfway back to New Orleans with a few more drinks to go. I said, tip 'em on back. Well, let's tip 'em on back.
Call the show now at 415-889-8367. The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is hour 2, episode 44 of Pop Culture Warrior. I am, of course, CQ. Radar is on the bench. We've benched him for the foreseeable future because with me tonight is an incredible artist, the creator and author of Scuttlebutt comics. We have the amazingly talented Navy veteran, Megan Willcoxson, joining us tonight. Hey, Megan.
Hey, CQ. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It is an honor. It is a pleasure to have you tonight. And any night that I don't have to hear Radar's grating voice is a good night. So thank you for being here.
Pleasure's all mine.
All right. So, wow. I mean, there's a lot to go into. For those at home, real quick, what is Scuttlebutt Comics?
Scuttlebutt is a Navy-themed webcomic, primarily U.S. Navy, also poking fun at the Coast Guard and Marines here and there, that I started making when I was active duty, and when I got out of the Navy, it kind of took off.
Very cool, very cool. So usually, whenever I interview somebody, the first thing I talk about is, what's your connection to the military? It's a little obvious, a little on the nose, but take us back. What did you do? When did you get in? When did you serve? What can you tell us?
Yeah. Sure. Let's see. Ooh, going all the way back. Almost everyone in my family has served in the military, primarily Navy. My mom and dad did 20 years, retired. My biological father was a Marine, cousin was a Marine. I joined the Navy. My grandpa, it just goes all the way back. Um, Unfortunately, when I joined the Navy, I chose to become an aviation ordnanceman. And when I sat down with my parents and told them that I was also marrying a woman, they told me they didn't care that I was gay, that I was more offending the family name by being an orty. It's like, oh, I'm the
All
black
right.
sheep. So I've been dealing with that. But no, let's see, I joined the Navy when I was 20 years old. I turned 21 in A school back in 2011. I was homeless for 2 years prior. And so, not being able to eat, oh God, I got in such great shape and went straight to
Mm,
boot camp.
mm.
I did 2 tours to the Persian Gulf on the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. And I got out in 2015.
Nice, nice. What was just out of curiosity, what was your army guy? So what was the Navy experience like? Was it more or less what you thought it would be? I mean, better or worse?
It's it's interesting because growing up, my mom was she was a squadron sailor, so she wasn't on the ships because at the time women couldn't go to the ships, and by the
Mm.
time they were allowed to, she got a choice to either go to a ship or go to Sicily. So we went to Sicily.
Nice.
My dad was also a squadron sailor, so when I was going in, I wanted the aviation route, but I didn't get to go to squadron. I was sent directly to the ship's company, so it was a much bigger beast than I was ready for. Um, but it was definitely it was a learning curve in that situation. But I did feel fortunate that I wasn't being dropped into a world where the culture shock would just rip someone apart. I mean, you've seen people in boot camp that lose their mind. It wasn't what they expected, or people
Right.
that join the Navy thinking they're all going to be Navy SEALs. Yeah, I had a fairly good idea, but also I went from homeless to 3 hots and a cot. So I'm good. I'm
Mm.
happy. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, you can't complain with that. We already got people in the comments. So Captain Wayne says, yeah, his family too, mainly Navy and Marines. And then Chris says, Signal runs the military. Oh, come on, come on, give me that nonsense. Get off my
Wave them
channel.
flags.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm curious. Where does the comics kind of come into it? Were you always doing cartoony things? Were you always into art? Were you always drawing? Or is this something that
Uh,
came about, during service?
I've always been a doodler. I've never been a good artist. I'm still not, but I've always doodled and everything. I was an only child, so being a latchkey kid was just like, here's some pencils and paper. I'm like, hell yeah! But when I was in the Navy, being on deployment and being in a tin can, floating in the middle of the ocean, it wears on you. So the best thing you can do, in my case, was to turn to humor. I've always been very jovial and just kind of fuck around with my superiors. Not as my military bearing wasn't superb,
Mm,
but my whole goal was just like, man, morale sucks. I don't want to, be a part of that. I want to kind of boost a little bit, make people laugh. But for personal, like, just try to keep my own head above water. I had a journal that I would doodle in and just write in. And I've never been like one to keep a diary, but it really helped my mental health for a while to just like
sure.
make fun of everything I see around me. And I ended up with a sketchbook in my pocket because those um, uh, big ass cargo pockets on the side of your uniform. I
Right.
had a sketchbook that fit in there just fine, and I would listen to like my chiefs and my first classes, just the stupid shit that they said. I would draw it out, and I had a few pages, and unfortunately, I left it out one day in my shop. I was told to like, get
Mm.
on the weapons elevator for something, and I left it. And when I came back, my chief E7 to you guys, uh, she's flipping through it. I was like, oh fuck me. She goes, "Is this yours?" I'm like, "Yes, chief." Uh-huh. Hey, AO1, come here. My first class comes over and she goes, look at this. He goes, huh, that's fucking funny. You draw this? I'm like, yeah, yes, AO1. He's like, all right, keep it up. I'm like, oh, thank God. Because it was them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just kept doing that. And it was just kind of for me. And when I got out of the Navy, I didn't want to take a whole bunch of sketchbooks with me on travel because my wife, she got orders to Japan while I was still on sea duty, and I was going to join her once I left service. And traveling overseas, I didn't want to take a bunch of sketchbooks, so I bought a Wacom tablet and hooked it up to my laptop and started like transcribing my little comics over and posting them on my personal Facebook. And it got so much traction that I put it on its own page, and it just exploded overnight.
Oh, that's awesome. So when was it officially born? Your page.
July 2015.
15. So you got a couple years in, and now we've had a few Milltoonists on the show, and I'm sure you're aware of them. We've had Private Murphy, show up on the show. We've had GI Low on the show, and now you. From what I'm understanding, because I got to talk to the guys behind them, and it's a pretty tight knit community, like the Mill cartoonists community. Is that right?
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, everyone's had such different experiences, but different branches, but it all comes down to the basic bullshit that we've all experienced that we can all poke fun at. Because if there's one thing that we all share, it's the bullshit.
Mm.
I mean, and I know Pete from GILO and
Yep.
and Mark from Private Murphy, and we'll read each other's comics, and there's the context, even if we don't understand, like, because the Army's so different from the Navy.
Yeah.
It's still like, God, I feel it. Like, I don't know what that word is, but I can feel, yeah, no, I got you. Like, it's
Yeah.
the same thing. And it's also great because it's such a niche community that we can bounce ideas off each other and collaborate. I've been fortunate enough to do collaborations with a lot of different cartoonists, Pete and Mark, as well as my buddy Brian Runyon does the Coast Guard cartoon called Knowledge, and then Zach Morris does the landing strip.
Sure.
And
I
yeah,
know that
there's
one.
a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a cool thing. I know, like, like I said, the audience was big fans of Private Murphy and GLO, and now they'll be connected to you. How much? I'm trying to put my small army brain. I'm trying to put these thoughts together here. How much do you think the humor of what you're doing translates, like you were saying, outside of the Navy, like that other military branches will get it? Because I'm sure there's a lot of it that's like, oh, you had to be in this section to understand it. But how much of it do you think really translates over?
Well, I mean, there's a couple comics that I did, and I'm not going to speak for the other guys, but for me, I had to learn. It's a learning curve because I do want my work to reach a larger audience. So I had to kind of step back and go, okay, I can't use the abbreviations all the time. I should write out the word if I want the joke to land.
Or that
That
heavy
way,
jargon?
right, exactly. So not just Navy will get it, but Air Force and Army and such, and then also civilians, because I have a lot of civilian fans, or who's they want to join, or their family was in, or they're just appreciative, and then they like webcomics, and that's
Mm.
great. And I don't want them to feel like, yeah, I can't read this, so I don't care. So there are a few from back when I started that, like, oh, I realized that I can read that just fine. I know what a muster for a working party at 1600 is, but you know
Not
the
everybody's gonna pick
average
that up.
reader
Yeah.
won't. Yeah. So I still keep a couple things in. I mean, you can Google words, but when it comes to like the heavy jargon, I try to mitigate it just by like writing it out, making it so more people than just sailors can read it.
So, all right. So we had a question here. It says, Chris said, I want one of those digital notebooks. Do you have any recommendations?
Digital notebook.
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess like
like
to do the doodling and
the
whatnot.
tablet.
Sure.
Well, personally, I started out with a $70 bamboo from Wacom or Wacom. I say Wacom. It's probably wrong. And it's great for beginners. But now I have an Intuos Pro from Wacom. I'm saving up to beg my wife to let me buy a Cintiq for a few $1,000s, but yeah, probably not. If someone's just starting to get into digital art at all, I highly suggest that for hardware, the little $70 bamboo, and for software, just starting out, let's see, Autodesk Sketchbook Pro is great and it's free. I think Clip Studio Paint is good if you can find the free version. You didn't hear that from me. There's a few paid ones, like like Photoshop and all the Adobe and everything, but they're universal. They're great. But and if you can't afford a Wacom, then I think Huron makes I think that's how you say it. I haven't used them personally, but I do know some college artists who swear by it.
Nice, nice, very cool. Captain Wayne here says, "Imagine if Army and Navy cooks switch places for a month." Oh man,
I don't think we'd notice a difference.
Well, I think one of them would not know what to do with themselves when they stuck on a ship. But as I mean, I've spent some time with Army cooks, and yeah, they don't know much what's going on. Now, you know what? Let me not ruffle any feathers. I love them. Great guys, love them all. They're awesome. No issues. Moving on. We'll start losing fans already. No, yeah. This is it's fascinating to me, because when you started out, and obviously you said you put some stuff out there, it started getting traction. You figure, okay, what the hell? Let me put this on a page, see what happens. At that moment, I mean, what were you hoping for? And like obviously, I would say you've been successful, right? You've reached an audience, people enjoy it, you're still doing it. But to you in that moment when you just started out, what was success? What was like, okay, this is, if I can get to this means I'm doing the right thing?
Honestly, making people laugh. Like I've said it before, and I'll put it in like my bio, and people ask like how this started. Like honestly, and I know it sounds like a cop out or trite, but I was just really excited that people thought it was funny. I typically, when people comment on my work, they're like, "Oh, this is funny. This reminds me of a sea story," and that opens up the dialogue, like listening to other sailors and what they're going through, and how we can poke fun at that. People messaging me privately and be like, "Oh, we put your comic up in the plan of the day throughout the ship. It's up, this comic's up in the chaplain's office." I personally, I went to the clinic in Atsugi, in Japan. I went to the Naval Clinic and they had one of my comics up behind it. And I was like, "Oh, that's amazing." Like it's making people laugh. It's just anything to get through the shittiness of the day that is the Navy, 24-hour duty, fire watch, just, anything that sweeping the pier when it's raining, like that bullshit. But just, yeah, I didn't expect it to take off like this. Honestly, I just started doing it for me, and I just kept doing it. It's gotten a little more difficult recently because even though I live on a naval base still, because my wife is active duty, I am removed from it enough that I'm not hanging out in the barracks anymore and getting drunk and
you're not getting that fresh material.
Yeah, exactly. So I just got to listen to what my wife brings home, and she doesn't want to come home and talk about work, but I make her.
Yeah, that's your muse at this point. She's your inspiration. I was going to joke and say, did you meet your wife before you were famous? Did she fall in love with you because of all the notoriety and the fame, or was this rags to riches story? What was the story behind it?
No, I met my wife after my second deployment. We were both active duty, but we did not work together. That's the first thing anyone's like, "Oh, you met in the Navy, you work together?" Like, nope, nope, you don't shit where you eat. Learn the hard way.
Agreed.
Yeah, I was stationed on an aircraft carrier, and she was stationed in Oceana, which is a Naval Air Station. So we were both in Virginia, but I live about 45 minutes away from her. And yeah, we met in 2013, got married in 2014, and we always tell our friends, like, we got married fast. Don't do it. It worked for us.
Yeah,
Don't
nothing
do
wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
And
If you
it's
can make it
well,
work.
the issue is back then in Virginia, it wasn't legal to be gay, and so with her orders coming up and the way our relationship was, we're like, our commands were supportive. They're like, if you want to stay together, you're going to have to go out of state to get married. So we had to travel out of state to Maryland, where it was legal. We got married. She got her orders cut to Japan and left. I completed my enlistment, and because we were married before she left, I was able to join her. And we've been happily, annoyingly, disgustingly in love for 7 years. So, it's working. And
That's awesome.
yeah. And I mean, I'm sorry that I don't have a camera, but it's probably for the best because she's the hot one. And if you can't be foxy, you got to be funny, and that's how I landed her.
I feel the same way about me and my wife, so don't feel bad. She's definitely the looker, and I'm the funny one. So unfortunately, I'm not as artistic as you. So
Me neither. I'm trying.
So we have a good question actually here in the chats. Keep them coming, guys. If you got questions, put them in the chats because these are great. When did you open up and accept your style of animation as your own?
I still haven't. I know it's a weird answer, but I'm still learning. I'm learning how to draw, and I know that's weird because I draw for a living. But I mean, if you were to go back and look at my original doodles, that's exactly what they were, and trying to teach myself how to draw digitally, and then and then looking through how everything's changed. I'm still learning and still adjusting, and it's a really slow process for me personally. Because when we were stationed in Japan and I used my GI Bill, they didn't have art school there on base. So I'm a nerd historian type. So I took history and political science, but I want to be a better artist. So I was like, okay, when we get back to the United States, I'll go to a university, learn about the proper fundamentals, learn how to use Adobe. I came back to the States. We got stationed in the Mojave. There's nothing here. So that was out of the question. So I'm taking classes online, not college courses, but like Udemy courses and things like that, where it's artists who are in the field of animation and digital art. And I'm like, I'm just going to learn from you. So I'm always changing it because I want to get better. There's a lot of things that I'm not good at, that I'm constantly trying to work on. And it is taken me a while because I'm also if I'm just going to segue it over here, I'm teaching myself Adobe Animate as well because I have a new project coming up that I've been just diving face first into. My wife's jealous. It's a history video series that I've been working on called Rhyme of the Modern Mariner, and it's short stories and well, it's history stories about things that have happened on the ocean, whether it's the U.S. Navy, Swedish Navy, Marines, Vikings, pirates, anything that's ever happened on the water. I want to animate it. I don't just want like still frames.
Sure.
So yeah, so I'm working on that. I have a graphic novel script, but I don't know how to draw yet, so I'm still working on that.
All right.
So
Very
yeah, sorry
cool.
to circle back to the question. I'm still adjusting and learning and getting my style down. I'm not quite where I want to be.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great answer, honestly, because once you kind of lock into, okay, this is my style, you're kind of limiting yourself, aren't you? Like you want to be open to, hey, this is going to change, and maybe this is what I'm doing now, but maybe it's not what I'm going to do later. And, you said
absolutely,
you got is there ever any thought to maybe animating some of the cartoons you've done before?
No, not the cartoons themselves. I like to keep those pretty static. Um, I mean, the closest thing that I want to do with my characters is my graphic novel, but it's going to be a much more still funny, of course, but a serious, actually like plot-driven narrative
Sure.
than just random one-offs and daily. But my project for Rime of the Modern Mariner is going to be um, completely focused on history. It's not
Right.
going to be
Realism.
character-driven,
Yeah.
right?
The stories behind the stories, so to speak.
Hmm.
Okay. Mike Larson said, "Oh, art and political science, every parent's worst nightmare." So, so there
Yeah,
you go.
funny enough, my mom told me when I told her when I was younger, I said, I want to join the Navy. She goes, "No, join the Air Force. They're paid better, they're treated better." And I said, "No." And I'm a fucking idiot and joined the Navy. Um, and she wanted me to be an artist too. She would buy me you know, but we'd go to Michael's and she'd buy me easels and paints and pastels and she's like, "Try it." But and me being the realist in the family, which I am not, I was like, "Mom, I'm never going to make money off of art. I don't know how to draw," because even though I have the materials, I've never been taught anything. Like we didn't have like access to that kind of stuff where I grew up, and um, so I figured it wasn't conducive for my future. I was like, the starving artist is a thing for a reason. So I went to college first, right out of high school. I went to a community college, and that's when I started political science. And then I realized I fucking hate politics. I love history. So
Mm.
that leads to my projects now. Yeah, politics fucking sucks, but history's fun because it already happened. It just takes, like, you don't even have to write it, just wrote itself. You just,
Yeah, you just retell it.
tell the story.
Learn
Exactly.
it and retell it.
Lazy.
We got Spanky in the chat. She says that she totally gets it because she was an Air Force brat that joined the Army. So,
Oh, you poor thing. Oh, honey, no. Why?
yes, but she also hates politics and loves history. So you guys have something in common. We had a question earlier that said, "What, as an artist, who have been your biggest influences?"
Straight up, when it comes to naval humor, Jeff Bacon of Broadside. Uh, Growing up, my parents had the Navy Times, and I would cut out his comics that I loved, and I'd like pin them to my board. And um, uh, Mark Baker, which was like, it floored me that he contacted me like, "Hey, I'm Mark Baker." I'm like, "I know who you are." I mean, I'm cool. What's up? I'm cool.
Yeah.
What's up, Mark? That's cool. That was amazing getting to know him. So because they've been drawing since before, I was knee high to a pissant. Like, just, oh my God, they're
Long
legends.
time. Yeah.
I've never met Jeff Bacon. I don't know if he'd even like me because I'm kind of stepping on his territory. But no, I've always loved his humor as well, and uh, uh, The Far Side, of course, phenomenal. I have all of the Calvin and Hobbes collections. I think I stole them from my 6th grade teacher. I'm sorry.
They're the best.
Yeah, and as for humor, I get a lot of it from my dad. Like, he was a very stoic man. He was very intimidating, but when that man got drunk, hilarious. So I just kind of like nitpicked out of that. But also, oddly enough, Will Friedle, from like Boy Meets World and
Yeah.
and Mini Primetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love his humor.
Older
That
brother
just,
Eric.
yeah, um, yeah, he's hilarious, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places that I pull from, like, just I don't do well with uncomfortable situations. So I've always been that one person that needs to shut the fuck up when we're in a group. I'm like, if someone says something like upsetting or sad, or I don't deal with it well, so I have to make a joke out of it as my own coping mechanism. So I try to stay away from those positions, period.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah.
Make it real awkward real fast. No, it's funny when you were talking about, like, oh, you want to do the longer format instead of just the one-offs. It immediately just sprung to my mind Calvin and Hobbes, like, because it, every page stands alone, but it does tell, over the course, especially the later books, it does tell kind of a longer story. in the sets. But no, I'm very that'd be really cool to see. So do you, as a web comic, I mean, do you I know like with Mark and a few of the others, they sell kind of like pressed copies of like set one, set two. Do you do anything like that where you sell some of the comics?
Oh, pardon me. While I would love to, I do not because I don't know how. The logistics of that would be real difficult for me. Um, like I said, right now I'm currently in the middle of the desert, and uh, uh, we don't really have much out here. So maybe eventually, when we go back to civilization, I'll try to figure it out. I mean, I've looked into it, like self-publishing and just the overhead for it. It's a lot. So I
Yeah.
mean, I do have a Patreon, and that's amazing. And my patrons are phenomenal, and they are really like the reason I was able to afford better equipment to make, to learn animate and everything, and to be able to afford these classes is because of my Patreon. So maybe in the future, but for right now, it's just me. Like, I know a lot of companies, or not companies, but a lot of like YouTube pages, they have like research assistants. Podcasts have research assistants, and artist assistants and everything, and I have none of that, and I don't even think I would want that. Like, maybe research, but when it comes to the actual medium, turn into like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, like, my precious, can't, no, don't fucking touch it. If it goes down in flames, I want it to be my fault. But if it does really well, I want to be the one to have done really well. So,
Absolutely.
I forgot the original question. I'm sorry. I'm just rambling at this point.
No, you're good. You're good. Actually, do you just off the top of your head, do you know the Patreon or how people can look it up? We'll have somebody put it in the chats that way people can see it.
It is patreon.com/scuttlebuttcomics.
There you go. Couldn't be easier. Get on it, yous that are watching in the background. Um, we've got people for that. So
See, you got people.
I got people. I don't ask much of them, but we've got people.
Good
Um,
people.
so you mentioned, I'm curious because you mentioned that people reach out to you, and I'm sure they reach out through the web page or the Facebook page and whatnot. I mean, I'm sure everybody's overwhelmingly positive, but I'm curious because I know every artist, regardless of the, I don't know, the art form, could be stand up comedy, could be any of the art forms. There's always hecklers. There's always those people that are gonna try to tear you down. Do you get a lot of that, or do you get
So
none?
every time I post a comic, I have like a mini panic attack because I have thick enough skin, but the internet is a strange bitchy beast. And if I put something up, I just like because I I think it's funny, so I want other people to think it's funny, and I worry that they're just gonna rip it apart. But there's honestly been no reason to worry. More often than not, if I do get a comment, before I even notice it, because like when I was in Japan, there was a 15-hour time difference. So I would post a comic and go to bed. And I'd wake up and I would have like a lot of great like comments underneath, but there's always like one or two
Hmm.
negative ones. It wasn't super, but I didn't even have to say anything because other people just destroyed them. Like, they're a lot meaner than I could be. So I appreciate that. I have the greatest fans in the world. There has been a couple times. I remember I posted one that it really happened to me. I was at a karaoke bar. My wife was on detachment. I was at a karaoke bar with a friend of mine, and we were trying to sing, and this person was super drunk, and they kept trying to come on to me, and I was like trying to sing around them because I've been waiting so long for the Marines to leave the karaoke bar so I could get my fucking song, and I thought it was a funny interaction, so I drew a comic about it because it's something that there's a lot of people at karaoke bars in other ports, and somebody commented and they said, this is the dumbest shit I've ever read. And I replied, and I simply said, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but I hope that I have other work that you'd be inclined to like. And he actually replied, he's like, wow, I didn't expect you to be so polite. I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's not everyone's cup of tea. It really happened to me. I thought it was funny, but not all jokes land, and I get that. I mean, I try not to go for the low-hanging fruit, but I've made a fart joke, and it has been one of my most popular, and I was really angry about it. Um, I mean, it happens once in a while, but I rarely like it happens so few times that I can't even really remember a specific point.
That's a great thing.
I mean, even on Reddit, like someone will say something sideways for no reason just because that's Reddit, and people will just destroy them. Like, oh, that's so sweet. I don't need to do anything because I'm not good at being mean.
Sure.
I'll just be polite and be like, sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, I think too, part of it is the appeal of what you do and what Mark does and what Pete does is, while it's not wholesome comedy, right? Because it's military and it's, we've all seen some shit, but it is for the most part positive. Even when it's being mean, it's for that silly slant. It's to say like, oh, can you believe how ridiculous this is and how silly it is? And I think, especially for a lot of the fans, the people that are connected to it are most likely veterans, and like this is like, man, this speaks to me. This was my experience, or this was something very similar to my experience, and we're protective of that, right? I read Private Murphy, and I see myself I was back in 2003, and so Private Murphy was the thing, and he went through airborne school, and I went through airborne school, and he was in the thing, and I was in the thing. And so if someone talked shit about it, I would tear him a new asshole because like that's me. I see myself in that. And I think there's so much positivity around it because of that. It's not the vet bros kind of like, oh, we're so hardcore and awesome, that is easy to kind of pick on, because it's like, oh guys, you really got to be that over the top. This is sweet. It's fun, it's silly, it's lighthearted. Maybe tells a message once in a while, which is okay. But yeah, I love it. I totally dig your stuff. I was sitting there, very, very Navy humor. I get it. It's, you got a niche, right? You gotta have your niche. But it's good. I enjoy it. And I think that's what a lot of the fans do too. One of the questions came in was really cool. I really like this. So Chris says, as it is dream as an artist would be to have his artwork on a Magic the Gathering card, a collectible trading card game. So what would your ultimate dream for your artwork be?
Oh man, yeah,
that's a good one, right?
That's who wrote that?
That's Christopher.
Christopher, you and me both, buddy, like for real. Yeah, so I didn't watch the Super Bowl because I was playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Awesome.
I love D&D and I love Magic the Gathering, and once a month or so I'll go on Wizards of the Coast and be like, all right, what are they got some jobs opening? Like, let me see if I'm qualified. No, I built bombs for a living. I don't think they want me. So yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to get good kid enough to fucking have a Magic Gathering card, or even just a character in a D&D supplement. Oh my God, I would shove that in my wife's face every day. Like, oh, you're mad at me for not doing the dishes? Bitch, this is my gnome. Look at it. Like, I would never, she's not a bitch. She's amazing. I'm sorry, baby. I love you. But like that would be my dream. Absolutely, is to be published in something like that. I'm a big fantasy nerd when it comes to that shit. And like, if I could get something like that, would be amazing. And Christopher, I hope you do. I hope that you practice, and one day I pick up a Magic the Gathering card and I just see Christopher, I don't know your last name, at the bottom. I'm like, that's him.
That's the guy. Heavy Metal 2000. So Captain Wayne said, it was Heavy Metal 2000 an influence? I'm guessing that was
Probably
the old
not, 'cause I've
magazine,
never
right?
heard of that.
It was like this. I remember this. Heavy Metal was like a magazine that had like super. It was almost kind of like if Magic the Gathering became like a quarterly magazine, where like all the artwork was very heavy metal and just I don't want to say monsters and machine guns and dragons and like motorcycles. It was just.
Well, now I need to look into that.
Yeah, I remember old. Okay, I'm dating myself now, but I remember going to the comic book shops or the bookstores and picking up a heavy metal magazine, and it was just I felt like, oh man, this is so hardcore. You know.
Well, I was living in Sicily for the majority of my childhood, and then even moving back to the States, we didn't have comic book stores or game shops. I
Mm.
actually didn't start playing Magic the Gathering until those 2 years prior to joining the Navy. Actually, I had some friends who were contractors because I was living in a very Navy town
Mm.
outside Pax River, Maryland. It's a naval air station, and a lot of like Marines and sailors, they go off, they come back, and they're super buff, and they become contractors down there. But when they were in high school, in elementary school, and middle school, they were nerds, so they would come into the game shop and start playing. And I'm just like, hell yeah, hot dudes playing nerd games, let's do this. So they taught me how to play, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. But I never heard of the Heavy Metal magazine. I'm gonna check that out. I
Yeah.
do like the actor. I never pronounce his last name right. I've said it like 30 different ways. But Joe Manganiello, he's
Yeah, I'm right there.
you know, you know what I'm talking about?
Manganello,
Manganiello,
Mangelio,
Manganiello. He's a
Mangelato.
massive.
That's what we're gonna call him.
Yeah. Oh, Mangelato. Mm. No hetero, but oh, it's so good.
He's a good looking
Um,
man. Good looking man. I can say
he
it.
yeah. Love my wife. He is a super D&D nerd.
Oh yeah.
Like, and he has a company called Death Saves, and they're like super heavy metal aesthetic on other gear. And like, I am averse to designing t-shirts. Like, I've been asked to do it. I've done it myself. I'm just like, nah, fuck that. I don't want to do this anymore. It's just a lot of work for like zero payoff. But if he were to reach out to me and be like, "Hey, draw something," I'm like, "Yes, sir. Sure, okay."
Whatever you want, whatever, anything. No, that's awesome. I mean, obviously, we're very nerd friendly here, so you can let your nerd flag fly. Actually, great question. Slightly off topic of your comic, but how do you feel about where the world is in regards to kind of nerd culture, pop culture, geek culture, whatever you want to call it? I mean, we're kind of living in like the golden age, the renaissance of geek culture. What do you feel about it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that I can sit here on live, practically television, be like, "I love Dungeons and Dragons," and I'm not gonna get beat up, like, that's amazing. I know, uh, being a kid, like being really into Pokemon,
Mhm.
like as a child, and then going into high school, if you still like that stuff, like you were like, a loser. But now as an adult, they're like, yeah, hell yeah, we got a movie with with Deadpool voicing
Yeah,
Pikachu. What? That's
right.
amazing.
Biggest actor in Hollywood.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a massive undertaking. While I didn't read the comics as a kid because I didn't have access to them, I still respect like a cinematic universe. Holy shit! Um, uh, yeah, no, it's exciting. I mean, Game of Thrones, save for their last season, Game of Thrones really brought forward the fantasy
Yeah.
driven nerd culture to the forefront where it was cool. Everyone was watching it. And if you weren't watching it, you were the odd one out. You were the weirdo. And then you've got like Critical Role for D&D. You've got all sorts of just everything's coming to the mainstream now. And I mean, not to mention they're definitely starting to make money off our nostalgia from the 80s and 90s.
Oh yeah,
I'm okay with it, like cool, let's do this.
big
Because
time.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm a Star Trek kid,
Mm.
but seeing like the hype around what is it, The Mandalorian and all that, like that's pretty cool. I'm here for it.
Chris said he keeps a D20 in his pocket just in case of hardcore decisions. So
I know, man.
there you go. Yeah,
Of course it's free.
Scott said Henry Cavill. He's also a nerd. Mr.
Oh
Superman
yeah.
himself is a super nerd, man.
I watched him build his own PC, and it
Yeah.
made me it made me feel so much better about myself when I noticed that, and he noticed that he installed one of his parts upside down and had to rebuild it.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I'm not the only one.
See, I watched the same video and it made me feel bad about myself because I saw him in the tank top building this PC and then I looked down at myself and went,
Oh Oh no!
What am I doing wrong?
You can't compare yourself to a literal god.
to Superman of all people. I'm like,
Yeah.
why take this from me? This is my thing. You're the jock. You're the handsome, good-looking. No, you can't be a nerd too.
Also the pitcher.
It's not fair. It's not fair. You can't. He's the Tom Brady. You can't have it all. You can't be good-looking, have the supermodel, win 20 Super Bowl. Like, it's not fair. It's not fair.
Oh my God! If Tom Brady came out and was like, "Anybody want to play Magic?" I'm like, "Nah, fuck this, man. This got too long."
There you go. See, you got it. All right. Well, wow, man, time flew by, but we're coming to the end. I want to be able to make sure that you can promote what it is. I know we've talked a lot about your comic and the other things you're working on. Let the people that know that are watching, where can they find you? How can they support you? Tease what you have coming so that way you get them all hot and bothered about your projects.
I've never been called a tease before. So you can find my work at Scuttlebutt Comics on Instagram and Facebook. Scuttlebuttcomics.com for just the whole library of everything. And I also have Scuttlebutt Comics on YouTube. There's some teases and everything coming up because it's going to take a while before I can get my videos out. I was supposed to have a completed product by this month, but life kind of threw me a curveball. And hey, we all know this last year's just didn't happen. It didn't happen. So yeah, at Scuttlebutt Comics.
Awesome. Well, Megan, thank you so much for coming on. Radar, I know you're still hanging around in the background because you're such a creepy weirdo.
I am. Hey, I put up her links, dog. I know what you want from me.
I know. I saw it. I appreciate you.
See, I'm biting my lips because you got to remember, dude. I was in the Marine Corps first, right? So I'm like, she's an AO. Like, if you ain't ordered, you ain't shit. Fuck
you. Yes.
Yeah, all that shit.
Yeah.
But I was an airframer, so it's a little bit different.
My mom was a framer. That's why she was really sad that I became an AO.
Hey, you're not grunting, so you're doing better than most of them. So
it took years of speech therapy.
Yeah. So Radar, before I let Megan go, I wanted to see if you had any last thoughts, any last questions, any last things you want to say before we let the wonderful Megan go about her merry little way.
No, I really want to thank you for coming on. It's been a blast. He had me on as like backup. That's basically the only reason I'm here. So like he's like, well, I don't even know like what's a Navy. I don't even know they have,
what's
like,
a Navy.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, dude, they do. They have like ships and there's like different kinds of them even. He's like, wow, really?
It's like tanks, but in the water.
Yeah, with like more guns.
It shocks people more that we have aircraft.
Right.
I'm trying to explain to him how the submariners don't hold their breath for like that long, really.
In the comic book, he does. Sorry, comic book joke. Submariner. He's a character. Nerd alert.
But really, thank you so much for coming on. It's been awesome. It really has been.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, now that we're ending it, my nerves are gone. I feel great.
I told you were gonna do fantastic. Everybody loved you. I mean, we literally got a bunch of comments in there saying that we love Megan and we love the stuff. And so
I love you.
Yeah, man, you're awesome. We really appreciate you coming on the show. Hopefully, as things, as the world gets back in order and in alignment with whatever nonsense is happening, and you get your future projects off the ground and you want to come on and talk about them, man, we'd love to have you back and talk about your projects.
Back, yeah. And maybe by then I'll have a research assistant.
you too can have a staff just like us. No, but
the dream.
But yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on. And guys, we're gonna go to a short break. And while I go say goodbye to Megan, we'll be back in a few minutes. So hang in, and we'll be right back. Ciao.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio. You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back. That was a lot of fun. Radar, what's up, buddy?
Yes. I had a blast, man. That was awesome.
That was a lot of fun, man. Megan was awesome to talk to, and obviously you guys in the chat seem to really appreciate it as well. So we appreciate you guys appreciating her, appreciating us, appreciating you. So thank you. Great job, guys. You did it. It's been a long day. It's been a long day for me. It's been a Tuesday.
And here's the thing, too. It's like negative 700 degrees outside. So I'm like, And I'm like, my bunker's in like the basement. And I'm pretty sure it's only about 45 in here. And I'm kind of.
Oh, God.
Being careful.
Oh, man. Yeah, no, that was awesome. I mean, shit, there was so much more to cover, but I'm kind of on a high. I kind of want to.
Most of the muscle relaxers.
there's also the muscle relaxers kicking in. There is that too.
Dude, that was a great. We've had 2 spectacular interviews tonight.
Yeah,
really.
James earlier today.
This is a twofer.
I mean, I wish I had more time to speak to James. We'll have to have him back another time. He's a fascinating guy.
As well.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a good one. She was not. You could tell she was really shaky at first, but she bellied up.
She hit her stride, man. Hit her stride.
Absolutely.
But all right, guys, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we've reached the end of tonight's festivities. This has been episode 44 of Pop Culture Warrior with me, CQ. That's Radar. Radar.
Yes.
You want to tell the folks at home what they've won for the rest of the week?
Well, you have been listening to Pop Culture Warrior with CQ and Radar. And our 2 guests. Two, count them, 2 guests. How many other shows bring you 2 guests in 2 hours? I don't know.
Probably
anyway,
a lot of them. Sorry, keep going.
Real shows, but I mean, whatever. Anyway, I think it was an amazing show. Tomorrow, Wednesday, Donza, day of no scheduled activities. Also, day off. Sorry about it. And tomorrow, very special day in the Radar household. It is Mrs. Radar's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Radar!
So I need the day off to, take care of my wife. She earned it. She puts up with me every day. I can take care of her 1 day a year. Maybe 2.
Fair enough.
Absolutely. Now, Thursday, big day. That's Sargent's time. All the big Sargent stuff with Spanky and Ice. They're going to bring you all the cool new active duty, reserve, retiree, National Guard, all the big things. Sorry about it. I get a beard. Y'all don't. But you have clear nail polish. Hey. Anyway, Friday Night Freedom. Cause Pookie. Good show. Listen up. Got to be there. Saturday, day off. Sunday, day off. Also known as The Weekend. Not a crappy halftime show, but an actual weekend. Monday, the Monday edition. That was a shit halftime show, by the way. I was not impressed with the jock straps on the face and then the all drunk in the fucking tunnel. No, fuck that. Sucked. Anyway, Monday edition with Ice and Flash. They'll be bringing you all the cool current events, all the stuff that you need to know about. You'll be there. Listen, it's good times. Coming back to us on Tuesdays.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Eloquent. That was eloquent.
That was eloquent. Well said, sir. Well said. Well struck. Heath, I see you out there, buddy. I saw your question. How many images are in the intro montage? It's a great question. I know the answer to it because I made it. Maybe I'll do a competition. Somebody can say the correct amount. They'll win a prize. I don't know. For
our next giveaway.
Yeah.
That should be the next giveaway. Yeah.
We
keep talking about doing a giveaway. We haven't done one for a while.
We gotta do one. Yeah. We're long past time. My voice is giving out shit. But we are well past time. All right. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's been a lot of fun. We will continue to bring you the latest and greatest in pop culture news, fun interviews.
And WandaVision news, let's be honest.
And WandaVision. Oh, my God. Here's the thing. I feel partly bad because I know we keep talking about it, but guess what? I made this show a year ago to talk about Marvel news, and it's been a year without Marvel news. So
That's not true. We talked about how everything was delayed for almost a year.
that was the Marvel news for a year. This got pushed back again. So yeah, you know what? Suck it. I want to talk about WandaVision, and this is my show. I can talk about.
All right then.
No, I promise we'll keep the WandaVision talk to a minimum. Although we'll probably.
But honestly, hold on once. What else is going on?
Yeah, right. I mean,
we might as well keep talking about WandaVision. I mean,
I mean,
until something else comes up.
What the hell? No, I tell you what. I promise. Next week, more news, a little bit of WandaVision. That's my promise to you guys. And as always, it's been an absolute treat. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys next week. Radar, peace, brother.
No,
peace be with you. Shots.
You